which to me, this is going to be the series. The Dallas Mavericks they've found a way to win under a lot of different circumstances, right? And it starts with guarding Luka Doncic. Now, I've watched a shit ton of film on these guys. I've watched a shit ton on Luka. This guy is fucking impossible to guard. I'll be honest with you, right? I was talking to my dad the other day, and he thinks you just gotta let him do him. Like, let him play single coverage, and don't let the other guys get involved. But I would agree with that in the sense of like a LeBron James or a Nikola Jokic, where you could tell they want to get assists. I don't think Luka would mind going for 70 in the finals. So I don't think that's the answer. Right? So the number one thing that they have to do that the Minnesota Timberwolves weren't doing is they're going to have to pick Luka Doncic up full court. And let's take a look at some of this. Take a look at some film.
Watch the face, which I'm sure, Derek Lively appreciates with that mask.
Look, this is the start of the game. 0-0 off tip-off.
Watch the face, which I'm sure, Derek Lively appreciates with that mask.
And Jaylen Brown is picking him up.
In his national TV crew chief debut. No John Vogel tonight had to miss the game.
The Mavericks.
Yeah, the deflections really helped to put Boston in a low clock situation. Hauser defending, and Luka pirouette.
Doncic draws two. Kleba. Little push shot is good.
With his size, can be very effective. Doncic off the bench.
Horrible. This shit is so horrible.
That smart school, UCLA now. Come on, coach. Oh, what a pass.
30-19 lead for Boston.
All right, so we'll start with. Let's see which one is. Where the fuck is this? Here. 10. So we'll start with number 1, right? You have to pick him up 94 feet. You have to turn him. You have to make, similar to what I was just talking about when it comes to on offense, you have to make him tired. So when he gets into his dribble packages and he gets into his moves, by the time he puts a shot up, he's already put up, 20, 30 dribbles in that possession, damn near. Right? That's what you would prefer. You want to wear him out. So that's number 1, right? And I think the best way would just be to show this. So obviously, they pick him up full court. In this scenario, Drew is starting with Kyrie, right? Now here, this is a mistake that the Timberwolves have been making, right? Like, Gobert would probably drop here and then just wait. He would probably drop around this hash mark right here and just wait. And then PJ Washington would get behind him. This guy clears corner. PJ Washington would get behind him, and then it would be a dunk. But instead of letting Luka make that decision, he kind of just shades him, right? And he tries to meet him at the rim. And yes, it's an easy shot for Luka, but at least it's not one of those dunks that now it gets the team going, right? And in this situation as well, too, one-on-one, isolated on the left block. You can't double team him, obviously, in this situation, because now it just starts a ring around the rosy with the pass. And we'll see it here in a second, but in this situation, the Timberwolves were overhelping, and it opens up this pass for dunks. I think you have to force Luka to make these tough shots. You have to not. You don't want to live with him playing one-on-one, but when he's in a spot like this, let him take the tough shot. Don't overhelp and now give up an easy dunk or layup at the rim. Now, this is a situation where the Boston Celtics help him, like they double him early, right? And they double him, it's, in the second quarter already. They're up, right? They're doubling him because they want someone else to make the play. They know the rotation, right? So they double him. They already know where the ball's going. Porzingis is pre-rotating. You can live with this. You can live with that if you're the Boston Celtics, right? So they got a basket there, but it's not bad. You can live with that. Now, we were just talking about not overhelping, right? This is what Minnesota was doing a lot of the time. He's trapped. He already got back. Everyone has to find the man right now. Everyone has to find their man and stay home and let Luka. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Which green? What are you talking about, Elijah? But yeah, so, in this situation, like, he's already in a tough spot. There is absolutely no fucking way in hell you allow a slot cut right here when both of you guys are there. That's just a miscommunication. Neither one of them are looking at him. Easy bucket. This situation is similar to this one that I was just talking about right here, right? Where the big over helps. So we see it over here. Kyle Anderson is a one-on-one. He's doing an okay job. You doubled already, right? You have to get out. You have to get out and force him to make a shot. But instead, well, one, you can't even double in that situation if I'm being honest. Because he's going to bump here. Look, he's doing a step. The only shot he has is a little floater. Or he's going to bump him again, left shoulder, and fade away. Like, you got to be able to live with those shots, man. Like, it is what it is. You have to be able to stay down and live with those shots. And obviously, Luka's a great player. He's going to make plays. Oh, it's one of these guys. Oh, it's one of these plays. Yeah. But yeah, it's just tough to it's going to be tough, right? So some of the keys for Luka, obviously guard him full court. I think, Elijah, to your point, if you're going to double him, then double him. If you're not going to double him, then don't double him. They have to be decisive in their decision making when it comes to defending Luka. Because if you let yourself be in this in-between bullshit, then he's going to destroy you, right? He's like, I think I find it. There's one here. Where is it? Here. This is more of what the Minnesota Timberwolves look like, right? So now he's reaching. Instead of just, he's already trapped, bro. There is no reason for you to do this. And now instead you foul him. And yeah. And so Al Horford is going to be another subject in a second, but you have to be decisive with Luka. In my opinion, on those pick and rolls, the goal for the big is to try to meet Luka at the rim. If you meet him at the rim, you take away those alley-oop passes, right? You kind of shade him the way Kristaps did in that play, and you try to meet him at the rim with your guard. And you just contest and you just play basketball, and it is what it is, right? The other key is they're going to have to consistently change their coverages on him. Yes, to mix it up. Exactly. Right on cue, Elijah. See, we on the same wavelength. Right on cue. You have to. You either double hit. You double him on the catch, double him on the dribble. When he dribble hards, when he hard dribbles left or right, and you hard stop him, he's going to spin. So predicting those certain movements that he does, doubling him on the spin, right? Doubling him on two dribbles. Throwing different looks at him, because I think the whole point is going to have to be, how are you going to disrupt his rhythm? Right? How are you going to disrupt his rhythm and force him into tough and uncomfortable shots and passes, right? To this point against Minnesota, it was pretty comfortable, everything that he was doing. The other part is, I think you start. Personally, I would want Jrue Holiday on him 94 feet. In the half court, I would prefer Jaylen Brown on him, because Jaylen Brown has more size, right? I think, excuse me. I think Holiday will do fine. It's just Luka's gonna get to his spot, and he can rise above Holiday. So in the half court, look for Brown. And then I'll talk more about this later. A switch potentially between, Tatum is going to be on Gafford potentially instead of Washington, so that when they do that pick and roll, Tatum can just switch it. And so look for him to guard Luka a little bit also on those pick and roll switches, to try to contain him and have some size on him, because I think Jrue Holiday and Derek White are going to be too small. Their goal is they're going to be tasked with picking him up full court, turning him, making him tired. In the half court, it's going to be primarily Jaylen Brown with some Jayson Tatum, in my opinion. Now, moving on to Luka's running mate. How do you guard Kyrie Irving? Now, for Kyrie, I think it's pretty simple. Right? For Kyrie, you hard double on pick and rolls especially. And as you can see here, if you watch them play, a lot of teams try not to let him get to his right hand. And it's, in my opinion, it's why he's always worked on it, but it's why his left-handed floater has become so good and it's become so effective, because teams will try to push him left. And as we could see here, Kristaps isn't even in defensive stance. He's literally sprinting to cut off Kyrie's right hand, and Kyrie does the right thing, right to left crossover dribble into a pull-up, and you see Derek White trying to get back into the play. And you got to be able to live with shots like it's a tough shot. You forced him to make a play. It is what it is, right? Now this is going to be another problem, because look, he's meeting him at the level of the screen, and we see Kyrie do this time and again, and he's going to get around it. All you could really try to do with Kyrie is to try to force him left, let him do his dribbles, and contest his shot up top. You have to just try to predict what shot he's going to take. When he's right, he could do his dribble pull up. He also likes his sidestep. He can also pull up left. He has spin. He has everything. Kind of like Luka, but Luka kind of he does the same moves more often. Kyrie, you can't let him see the basket or see the play. So that's why you see a lot of teams We saw OKC do it. We saw Minnesota, where they are coming up high on the pick and roll to try to really trap Kyrie. And I think that's what Boston is going to have to do. You have to try to limit Kyrie. Don't let him get going in the fourth quarter like we've seen in the Minnesota series. If you can get a Kyrie that's getting 9 to 11 assists, isn't really looking for a shot, kind of like in the OKC series, because they were double teaming him so much, then I would like the Boston Celtics' chance. And it's going to start with that pick and roll. One-on-one, you obviously try to force Kyrie left, but he's going to get a shot up. So it just is what it is, right? That's the trouble that you have with going up against a team like Dallas when they have two of the best one-on-one players that we've ever seen, if we're being honest, you know. These two guys are phenomenal. So I think they have to try to, one, play them straight up at times and stay at home on everyone else. Be disciplined. Don't give up all those open threes, over helping when they're already shooting a tough shot. So